by North Korea, a top priority for President Trump as he attends his first G20 summit this week in Germany. The other will be his first face-to-face meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin. The president will also pay a visit to NATO member Poland, where they're looking for reassurances of the defense alliance intentions from Moscow.
The fact that President Trump has got his own forces here on ground in Poland, and that he invested more in the financially also in the security of our region, and that he prolongs the financial support for this presence of his troops in Poland towards more than that was intended previously.
Kristin Fisher is live in Warsaw, Poland. Kristin, let's begin with the North Korean missile test. How is the president responding?
Well, Molly, President Trump is really responding by putting a lot of pressure on North Korea's neighbors, and he's going to be meeting with a lot of those nations' leaders at the G20 summit a little bit later this week. But let's take a look at what President Trump said earlier today on Twitter. He said, quote, "North Korea has just launched another missile. Does this guy have anything better to do with his life? Hard to believe that South Korea and Japan will put up with this much longer. Perhaps China will put a heavy move on North Korea and end this nonsense once and for all." You know, President Trump has said repeatedly that the time for strategic patience is over. The problem is that when it comes to North Korea, there are no good options, and that's been said repeatedly by many experts and many folks within the Trump administration as well. Molly?
Kristin, there are some highly anticipated meetings. What do you expect will be the highlights of President Trump's second foreign trip?
Well, I think you can expect to see two big moments out of this trip. The first is going to take place on Thursday here in Poland when President Trump speaks directly to a big crowd of Polish people, and he's going to be speaking in an outdoor square, the same square that was used really as the center for the uprising against Nazi occupation back in 1944. So that'll be a big moment. And then the other big moment will take place on Friday at the G20 summit in Germany, the first face-to-face meeting between Russian President Vladimir Putin and President Trump. The problem facing President Trump is that both of those audiences want two totally different things. You know, Poland sits right on the border with Russia. It's very wary of Moscow. So they want President Trump to really reconfirm its commitment to NATO, especially the alliance's military buildup in Eastern Europe, which ramped up after Russia-backed forces invaded Ukraine and includes about 1,000 U.S. troops currently on the ground there. But on the other hand, President Putin, he wants the exact opposite.
Trump has to choose really here to some extent. He has to choose whether he's going to prioritize the NATO alliance, prioritize transatlantic security and standing with European countries to deter Russia, or prioritize improved relations with Russia.
Now, when President Trump lands here in Poland tomorrow night, he'll likely receive a much warmer welcome than the one that he's going to receive in Germany. That's because Poland, like the U.S., is now run by a conservative government that favors restricted immigration policies and opposes many environmental regulations. It's also one of the few NATO allies to meet its commitment to spend about 2% of its GDP on defense. So there's a lot of similarities between the Trump administration and the Polish government. The question, though, is will they differ on the one issue that matters most, Russia? Molly?
It will be fascinating to see what sort of reception President Trump receives on this second trip. Kristin Fisher from Poland, thank you.